Niall Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill. Niall, this is going to be the hot topic, at least until this draft or whatever decision is finalized by the court. But obviously, both pro-choice and pro-life folks are going to be demonstrating, protesting, focusing on the investigation. The person who leaked this document, wouldn't there only be a small handful of people with access to such a draft?
Yes, it certainly would not be an enormous number of people. You have the 9 justices themselves, you have 4 clerks per justice, and you have a fairly modest number of support staff. So the estimate is around 70 people in total would have had access to this document and therefore had the capacity to leak it.
It may not be criminal. We've been hearing that this may not have any type of criminal implication. But what's the talk in Washington about what the leaker's motivation might be?
So I guess the most popular conception or theory is that this is a liberal-minded leaker who has put this out in advance, hoping to stoke public outrage and perhaps even hoping that that might peel off one of the justices who, it is reported, is willing to vote to strike down Roe v. Wade. But there are alternative theories as well. One is perhaps a more conservative leaker hoping to make sure that none of the people currently voting to strike down Roe v. Wade is likely to defect from that position, trying to keep them on side. It is worth saying, Adrienne, it's a fascinating whodunit, but there's a lot that we just don't know.
Yeah, the marshal of the court is going to be looking into all of this. Whether it's illegal or not to share such a document, what might the consequences be for this leaker, even if it's just seen as being irresponsible for not following security protocol on the job?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, most people don't think this is a criminal matter. The consequences are more likely to be professional consequences. For example, if a clerk to one of the justices was found to have leaked this, it would very clearly be a firing offence. We have had other people, for example, the Republican Senator Josh Hawley suggesting that any clerk found to have done this should be disbarred from practicing as a lawyer. So there could be very real consequences. I'm just highly skeptical there would ever be criminal consequences.
Chief Justice Roberts very upset about this. He actually directed the marshal to launch this investigation. But have we heard anybody else talking about the deep sense of betrayal the justices are feeling after a breach like this?
Well, we haven't heard much commentary from the other justices. The statement that you're referring to from the Chief Justice was put out through the Supreme Court's press office, and I guess you might argue implicitly carries the endorsement of the other justices. But, I mean, obviously something as sensitive as this on such a visceral and intimate topic, that's not something that the justices are going to like their deliberations being made public about. So it is a legitimate betrayal on that scale. There's no question about it.
We know you like to answer questions from our viewers, so we have one for you. Her name is Julie. She's from Florida. She asks, could the leaked draft ruling or opinion affect the Supreme Court's final decision?
It could, in the sense that this is something where justices are allowed to weigh in on the draft, suggest amendments, and they can change their mind. About a decade ago, Justice Roberts himself changed his mind on a huge case revolving around the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. So it could change, but if Julie is asking whether public opinion or public reaction will shift the justices, I don't know about that. I think justices would be very reluctant to even own up to the possibility of them being shifted by public opinion.
Right. That would not be in step with what they have signed up to do as justices on the court. They do not consider public opinion. Niall, thank you so much for your time, as always. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.